Hello, Assalamu alaikum. In this video, we will understand about the multiple sclerosis. So, this is the central nervous system disease and how it occur and what is the sign and symptom. Let's understand about all things. So, the multiple sclerosis is known as the MS, is potentially disabling disease of the brain and spinal cord, the central nervous system, and eventually damage the protective myelin sheath by autoimmune disorder or other infection, and will lead to communication problem and with brain to all the body parts, the peripheral part of the body, because the brain when damaged it means the all part of the body can be damaged. Even the bipolar disorder can occur. Let's understand about this is the person which that is involving the multiple sclerosis. This is the central nervous system contain brain and spinal cord. Let's understand about the inside of the brain. The chemical coordination will occur. Nervous coordination occur, which that control the central nervous system, the part of the peripheral part of the body, and this is the presynaptic neuron will trigger the postsynaptic neuron. In this way, the myelin sheath will lead to transmit the signal, the nerve impulse, saltatory conduction, which that will lead to increase fast the nerve impulse, the chemical coordination, electrical coordination, and the neurotransmitter release will bind with the neurotransmitter receptor, like the acetylcholine receptor or other, will lead to synapse, will lead to coordination, and in this way the impulse will increase in the postsynaptic neuron, will lead to give the nerve impulse. This is the synapse, and this synapse is important for the integration with a different type of neurons. The risk factor of this multiple sclerosis is the age, family history, infection, race, climate, and the vitamin D deficiency, genes, and obesity and autoimmune disease, as well as smoking. This is the brain and spinal cord. The genetics is very important, play important role for change, the alteration of the myelin sheath part. This environmental factor will also damage. But remember that things, the autoimmune disorder is very important. We will understand in this video just. The autoimmune disorder means the blood-brain barrier are present, and in this way, the infection chances is more less as compared to the inflammation. Some inflammation and some other disease which that progress the multiple sclerosis, like the viral infection. There is the microglial cell and astrocyte as well as dendritic cell will recognize the autoantigen of the myelin cell. This will go into the blood circulatory system again, and it will become an antigen presenting cell, go into the lymph node toward the lymphatic system. Naive T cell will activate via a antigen presenting cell through a T cell receptor via a MSC molecule, will lead to proliferate into the CD4 and 8 T cell. And the CD4 T helper cell will trigger the naive B cell to produce the plasma cell and B memory cell. But the CD8 recruitment will damage, and it clears the damaged tissue, and the opsonized due to the antibodies production from the plasma membrane is the autoantibodies will target to the myelin cell, and the myelinated sheath will be damaged, and opsonization by IgE can be antibodies and damage the protection. This protection damage also the innate immune response and adaptive immune response through a cytokine production, and the interleukin 15 will inhibit the T regulatory cell because the chronic inflammation will progress, will inhibit the T regulatory cell. In this way, the autoimmune disorder progression will occur. In this way, the continuously plasma cell produce the antibodies, autoantibodies, will opsonize the neurons. A myelin sheath will lead to slow the conduction, and the slow the nerve impulse will lead to cause many problems. It can be immune dependent and immune independent disease, the multiple sclerosis. Let's first we will understand about the immune dependent. The immune dependent involve the microglial cell, astrocyte and B cell, the adaptive cell of the immune cell, immunity. This is the glutamate, for example. So this is the immune dependent, but the immune independent is this is the potassium sodium exchange will lead to nerve impulse, and this nerve impulse, slow impulse, due to the damage of the myelinated Schwann cell. And in this way, the calcium influx and glutamate excitotoxicity will occur, and ionic imbalances will lead to atrophy and degeneration of the nerves. It means the neurodegenerative process will begin due to the multiple sclerosis if the early cure will not occur, early treatment not. Demyelination will lead to increase the iron and will lead to oxidative stress. In this way, inside of the soma contain nucleus and mitochondria. The mitochondria will work less, and ATP decrease will lead to production of reactive oxygen species, and reactive nitrogen species will lead to damage the mitochondria. Anyhow, this is the immune independent. So the disease course is the relapsing and remitting disease develop new symptoms within in days and weeks. It usually improve partially or completely. Relapsing can cause months to years. At least 20 to 40% of those with relapsing remitting MS can eventually develop a steady progression of symptom. So remember, this is the autoimmune disorder or the immune dependent or immune independent. Immune independent is due to the chronic inflammation, the stress due to the production of reactive oxygen species or reactive nitrogen species. So the depression will lead to also promote this multiple sclerosis because the degradation due to the sympathetic nervous system activation continuously. The sign and symptom is may differ greatly person to person. Let's understand about the general sign and symptom in this video. This is a person which that involving the multiple sclerosis and disorder, and in this way it will lead to slurred sleep, slurred speech, difficulty in speaking, difficulty in walk. It means the fatigue, tingling, numbness, or weakness in one or more limbs that typically occurs one side. Blurry vision, mood disturbance, and the partially or complete loss of vision is double vision. On the other hand, the electrical shock sensation that occur with certain neck movement, like especially bending the neck forward, which that feel the shock sensation, the electrical shock sensation, and we will feel the current, the electrical shock. The lack of coordination, the cognitive problem involving the vertigo. We will understand in the next video about the vertigo. And fatigue is the also part, and the problem with sexual and bowel and sexual and bowel and bladder function problem, and small increase body temperature. Remember that things. So I hope you make sense about this. This is the overview, the multiple sclerosis, the immune independent and immune dependent inflammation, and in this way will lead to degeneration of the nerves, neurodegenerative process of the central nervous system. Thanks for watching. Please make sure to subscribe, like, and share. Bye.